So this is Switzerland too. In the middle of nowhere, you all of a sudden have this ventilation going. Well, that's industry. A lot to do with the cows. That's why we have these greens. So the farmers would also put out the poo and the pee of the cow onto these lawns. That's why the variety is so diminished. But otherwise, it's a nice outlook. Just the mountains and the clouds. Far away the light on that mountain. Yeah, you don't see it. That's video. Without zooming, you're not seeing it. Yes. Well. This camera is not so very well equipped to get the sharpness right while zooming in low light situations. So it's not film that you can roll and roll as slow as you want. When there is no movement, you just keep it. Well, what would you do? You would. You could do a lot of things just by changing the frame rate. Slower or faster. And you can get slower when you have no movement. Yes, these lights over there, that's the cable car going up. Yes, and on this field they play football. There is an even more boring lawn up there. Field of grass, it ain't no more. But then there is also the paragliders landing on there. So when I'm up on the mountain, I often see stuff, colored birds in the sky. Those paragliders are starting from up there. So regulated as Switzerland is, it's one of those two spots that you can jump from in this valley. So, yeah. I love walking up when it's like this. Getting dark. Yes. This time I will take the time to walk up there. Yesterday I went down and up, and the day before I went downhill and uphill, and in between I wasn't sleeping. So from yesterday to today I slept and sort of woke up late, 8:30, and then I again went to bed. You know, Sunday vibe. I'm so happy having finished 15 music videos in 1.5 months. Like when I checked the uploads on YouTube, I could give you detailed information, but it feels like 1.5 months. And 15 videos, newly created ones, are up there. Yes. I'll soon be able just to stick around at home and write my book page by page. I read my words when I see a word that's not really saying something and it doesn't really give any meaning more than filling up sentences, I erase it from the text. And then on LibreOffice now I'm working. Before it used to be OpenOffice, so I was in the midst of a project half a year ago for my fashion label on OpenOffice. So I thought, yeah, I'll continue on there. And had to learn that they have all moved over to something called LibreOffice. Okay, now I've got the same, really, service. This is like, it's it's for free. It's really a good writing program, really for literature perfect. Yeah. So I will be staring at my own words pretty soon. A lot I will be doing so. Yeah, and just go through page by page and looking for boring sentences just to create them nicer, because written it is coherent and the parts in themselves have their places. I won't too much be remodeling moving big portions of the text. Now it's just to become a what's that French writer called? Coelho. Spanish. Coelho. So his texts are very straightforward, no garbage in the sentences, you might say, like no words that, like then and but, and there is a way to say stuff more in short sentences, and by that avoiding these long meanders where you link portions of a sentence with then and but, otherwise, whether. Just say things as if though explaining to a child in short sentences, and where you end up is literature. Like, it's not like Thomas Mann, he's the meander in one, but it's more like, I wouldn't want to say I'm brainwashed by having been collecting comics a lot, but actually comic is a bit like that. It's more action-based, more Hebraic, you might also say, because on the Hebraic sites, when you learn, I once heard, and Hebraic is short sentences, all linked by a and. So it's a very tempo-driven language, very much about things happening and chains being told of naming all, like a pile of something, like naming all the mountains, and then all the mountains and. It's like a piling of stones on top of each other, like they did in this Babylonian tower project. So the tower there built is imaginary. It's the city with its walls and the nations, the different cultures meeting each other at that construction of the tower, which is our society, going to work, paying taxes, building streets, roads, paths, down to alpine hiking paths with signals, signaling you where you have to go if you want to stay safe. So even me, I'm a bit stupid. I'm not really finding my very private way through nature. So I can tell you, when I am in a wood, I go like, where have the animals walked already? You can tell it's the most easy path through the wood. So I was in the wintertime in the wood, and I would see where, where it's easy to go, so to say. We are always led through nature. Do you get that? I can never just say, like in Alaska, I walk any direction. There is no path, nothing. I just walk because, I want to get more north, more south. Here it is like, yeah, you go this road, then you take a turn, because, you know, the way to your home is so very much leading, passing between buildings and rivers. You cannot really walk unobstructed. You're always following something, like a blind follows his street marks. And we see what we are in civilization, so much impregnated by the surrounding. It's like design that in a interior design might free you. When you experience it, you have this sudden rush of fresh air, like, oh yeah. So our brain gets imprinted by what it sees, and then thereupon how you experience it. Like when you have a lot of furniture and this and that in a room, it gets so difficult to move in there. You feel like a pain somehow. I wouldn't want to say pain in the ass, but these surroundings that are, you know, uplifting, they are like the churches, open room, you know, sunlight. We humans, we are not cavemen. Yes, and how did I come to talk to you about such? I don't know. It's just that I'm walking up there following a road because we are in Switzerland and not in Alaska. And still I like walking up there because it feels a bit more safe than having to pave my own path every time I walk up there. But still it makes me less a survivor in natural fields. This is all guided room, which is the building of the Tower of Babylon. All is accumulating goods, materials, building, infrastructure. That's what Babylon is about. There it's symbolically a tower overseeing structure you are building, a all overseeing structure, which is the laws that rule within civilization. It's not just that you're guided by the roads, you're also within a certain range of laws you have to abide by. Yes.